Have a good day.
Yeah, how big is Diddy?
Whoa.
It is something about Don Richard being on this case to testify that irks me, and I just don't know what it is. This is not a case of Cassie versus Diddy for domestic violence. This is a lot. This is filthy. This is gross. My honest, pure hope is that he gets off, he learns from this situation, and he has another chance to make all these wrongs right.
What's coming?
Welcome to another episode of the That Scary with Melanie P podcast. I'm your girl, Melanie P, and we are here to have a conversation. Unless you're under a rock, you have seen the P. Diddy trial on every news outlet, Instagram outlet, Twitter outlet, podcast. I started watching the trial very close, and I even recorded an episode on the first 2 days of the trial when Cassie was on the stand. And when I went to go edit that podcast, it wasn't even there. It didn't even record. And I said, you know what? That could be a sign. This trial is filthy and dirty. And specifically, Cassie, what she said was done to her, what she alleged of drinking urine, getting pooped on, having sores in her throat from sucking so much penis. She literally said that she would go to sing the next day after having a freak off, and she couldn't because her mouth was full of sores and things. And when they asked her, why was your mouth full? She said, because this is how I took it, how she said it. You know why, silly. I just had so many different objects in my mouth that shouldn't have been there. Now, I know that's not probably how she said it. I'm certain that's not how she said it, but that's what it gave. And so I said, you know what? This is a lot. This is filthy. This is gross. The whole, explosion, sexual explosion, and then using those sexual explosion juices of another person. Let me repeat that because I said it. I did. Imagine you are in a freak off and you are making your partner sleep with another man, and it is mandatory that man explodes. And because if you don't explode, he don't get paid. I'm not making this up. This is what happened in the trial. If the sex workers don't explode, they don't get paid. But let's take it to another sick level. When they explode, Diddy would allegedly use the juices from the explosion to pleasure himself. So you know what? With that being said, child, that was enough for me. It was gross. The first couple of days of this Cassie on this stand was gross. But we're not here to talk about Cassie. We're not really here to talk about the Diddy case, really. I'm here to talk about Don Richard, aka Don Richard, aka Diddy, Danity Kane, aka Dirty Money, aka now she's a punk rock singer or whatever she is. It is something about Don Richard being on this case and coming up here to testify that irks me, and I just don't know what it is. It is something that truly, truly irks me. And it's crazy because Don Richard, Don Richard, like he was never Don Richard. I don't know. When I was reading over this case and I was reading over Don Richard's statement, let me give you guys kind of a brief summary of what Don basically said. Now, Don said that she was a witness to abuse by Diddy to Cassie. She recounted in 2009 an incident where Combs allegedly attempted to strike Cassie with a skillet and then physically assaulted her. She described a 2010 episode at a restaurant where Combs reportedly punched Cassie during an argument, allegedly with industry figures there like Usher and Neo and Jimmy Lovine. I keep hearing his name. I don't know who that is. Threats and intimidation. Richard, tomato, testified that Combs threatened her life for witnessing these events, warning that people go missing for speaking out, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's play this.
Freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech.
Have a good day.
Yeah, how big is Diddy's dick?
Whoa.
Wow. I get the 10
Come on now, man.
Is somebody beating up
Monetization.
That's enough.
going too far. Yeah,
I want to get my ass beat for 10 million. I want to get my ass beat for 10 million. Isn't it freedom of speech? You have freedom of speech?
Y'all, this is crazy. Now, I don't want to touch too long on this, and I don't want to. This is something that I really don't want to do a lot of talking on, but Dawn Richards, one thing that she said in her testimony or on an interview or something is that basically she wanted to protect Cassie. She felt bad for Cassie. She encouraged Cassie to leave Diddy. She encouraged Cassie to get free. She encouraged Cassie to do all of these things, but Cassie did not want to. And so it is what it is, basically. And here's my thing. I'm going to be honest and tell you my honest thoughts. It is given my career's on the downfall. This is going to help, put my name back in the spotlight. So let me just use this as a little bit of a comeback. Dawn Richards, is it me? Tell me if you agree, but Dawn Richards has truly, she's somebody different. I remember that Diddy kept her in the contract, which is how she ended up being in Dirty Money with that other young lady. Mind you, the other young lady, I'll add her name on the screen, she ain't agreeing or corroborating any of this story. So who is lying? Who's telling the truth? Now, here's the thing. I'm not gonna play dumb. I do believe that Diddy was beating ass. I do believe that Diddy was abusing Cassie. I do believe. But I also believe that there was a point in the situation, and I always say this, and it always gets negative feedback, but I believe this. Cassie is a victim. And I've never personally been in a situation where a man put his hands on me physically, like was consistently beating my ass, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to stay with him. I've never been in that situation, and I've said this on recent podcasts. I have learned to never say never. I feel confident. Ain't no way no nigga gonna put his hands on me, child. Listen, I will beat your ass. I will get my goons to beat your ass. Like, it ain't given. I'm about to let somebody beat my ass. It's not giving that, right? But I can't say that I can't speak to being physically abused consistently and being afraid to leave. I can't speak to that. But what I'm trying to say is that, and I said this with R. Kelly, and I say this with Diddy, these men, they are abusive. I believe that they are abusive, but I also believe that the same way that these men abuse these women come onto the scene wanting to get from these men what they can get from these men because they're celebrities, they're rich, they're millionaires, they're rich people. So we cannot avoid and we cannot pretend like in the evidence with the not prosecution, whoever they are, with the evidence that Diddy's team presented, it clearly showed text messages where Cassie was literally saying, I want to freak off. Where you at? Come find me. I want to freak off. I want these men. Go find a man. I want to go find a man because I want to freak off. And it's several times like that. And even after he allegedly raped her, she went back and had sex with him at her own free will. Now, I'm not trying to come against victims, child. I'm not trying to please don't come for me, PETA people, victim people, don't come for me. But I'm just keeping it in a buck and I'm telling you my real thoughts. I'm telling you my real thoughts, my real opinions. I do believe that there was a large portion in this relationship where Diddy was abusing Cassie. But we have to remember the basis of this. This is not a case of Cassie versus Diddy for domestic violence. This is a case of the government versus Diddy for RICO charges. This is a case of racketeering. This is a case of sex trafficking. This is a case of transportation of prostitution. And let me go a little bit deeper so we can understand, because listen, we ain't really been in, the Melanie peeps don't be in jail. We don't be in trouble. So racketeering, let's talk about what these are. Let's talk about this. So Diddy is currently on a trial in Manhattan federal court facing charges that include racketeering. Prosecutors allege that Combs led a criminal enterprise from 2004 to present, engaging in crimes such as sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Now, from what I've seen, and I'm watching Armand Wiggins. Armand, if you watch this, I love you. Make sure you guys are following Armand Wiggins. I'm sure you are. He is doing an amazing job on the scene. He is in New York, child, at the court, taking all the notes, and this is where I'm getting a lot of my information from, among other people, but I love me some Armand Wiggins. I don't feel like, from what I've heard, from what I've read, from what I've seen other people talk about, I don't see a case of racketeering here. I truly don't, without a reasonable doubt. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. He's accused of coercing women into sexual acts through manipulation, threats, and violence. Now, that one... And see, I'm kind of nervous to speak my real truth. That one can be tricky. Because I kind of feel like in the beginning, Cassie was with the shits, in my opinion. Throughout the years, Cassie was with the shits. And I'm saying this based off what I have read and what I've heard. That is the basis of my opinion. If you want to be free, you're not texting a man asking him to go find you some niggas because you ready to freak off, okay? If you want to be free, you're not staying there saying you're mad that, you know, the baby mama gets his time, but you don't get his time. If you want to be for real free, you're not sitting there letting him pay for everything for you. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm sorry, but that's my true thoughts. Like, this is like without a reasonable doubt. And I do feel like, let me keep repeating this for the goons in the back. I do feel like she was a victim of abuse. I do feel that way, but I don't feel like, if I'm listening and just going off the facts of what I heard, my true authentic opinion is that she could have left if she wanted to. I just think that, I don't know. But I really do think that she was there because of the money. Like, that's what we're not talking about. Like, I have to be honest. Diddy is a millionaire, I believe. I believe he's a millionaire. I believe he was a millionaire. And so look at where Cassie is now. When Cassie left Diddy, she moved in with her parents and lived there. And to sum it up in layman's terms, when she was going to go and put this book out against Diddy and go for Diddy, I feel like she took that money that he paid her to zip it, and that's what she's living off of, because it was a very large sum. I don't remember the sum of it, but she took that money. But I'm saying that to say that there is a victim and there also is some using on Cassie's part. Yeah, I just feel like I don't see a case. So the other thing that the government is coming against Diddy on is transportation of prostitution, which means Combs allegedly transported individuals across state lines for the purposes of engaging in prostitution. I don't feel like, I haven't heard, and I think we have a couple more weeks left, but I really haven't heard anything that proves that. I feel like, and it is 7/27, Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. I don't feel like Diddy is going to go to jail for this. I mean, I don't feel like he's going to stay in jail for the rest of his life like people are thinking. I don't think he's going to get sentenced for this. I don't think that they are proving without a shadow of a doubt that he has been that he would be charged of racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation of a prostitute. I don't feel like there's enough evidence now to support that. I don't know. But back to Don Richards, child. Don Richards, why are you here? I don't know. Why are you here? It's something about her that is not giving. And then based on Armand's commentary and based on other reports that I read, you know, she did not do it no justice. She was getting her stories mixed up. She wasn't sure. She told people one thing one day, another thing another day. Like, her story wasn't lining up. So why are you here? I don't know. I just, it's something about Don Richards that I'm just like, girl, why are you here? Why are you here? I actually follow Don Richards because I was a fan of Don Richards when she was with Danity Kane. I loved her voice. I love what she brought to the group. I loved her music with Dirty Money. I can't think of right now any of her songs after Dirty Money, but none of them really popped off. So I really do feel like this is a money grab on Don Richards' part. I do. Y'all, I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Like, am I in this by myself? I don't think that Diddy's going to be charged for these charges. I just don't think so. I think he's going to get off with time served, and he'll be back in his mansion with his daughters and his sons right after this is done. I don't see it. And honestly, I hope that's the case. My honest, pure hope is that he gets off, he learns from this situation, and he has another chance to make all these wrongs right. And I know that that doesn't sound good. And I know that people are not going to agree with me. And I'm not going to go too far down the line with this, but I feel like people like this, they were abused. They were victims at one point, and they became what the thing is, that they became the monster that, you know, came after them. I don't know, child. It's just so sad. I want him to get free, and I want him to learn from his mistakes. I really truly want Diddy to have a second chance. Cassie already got her money. She's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that she's on this drug now that she's going to be on for the rest of her life. Well, I'm not going to say for the rest of her life, but she's on a drug. She was saying that she's on a drug now that she has to be on because she was addicted to opioids. And so this drug that she takes every day helps her from relapsing and getting back on opioids. I think that her and Diddy was on drugs. Listen, and I don't want to make this about, but compared to Diddy, we are poor. Okay, we are poor. Compared to Diddy, we are on the side of the streets with a sign saying we'll work for food. Like, if you compare Diddy to us, we're poor. And I say that to say that you don't know what you would do if you had a chance to be off the street, not under a bridge, and be having, you know, vacations in the best places, room service, all your bills paid. Your ass do not know what you would do. And that's the thing that I need us to be honest about. Everybody's saying, oh, this is so sick, this is so sick, this is so sick. But if you look into the case, there's a lot of messages that the Diddy's team has shown where he was encouraging Cassie to get off drugs, to not take drugs, to do these things. Now, one may argue, well, nigga, you put her on a drug, so how you going to encourage her not to be on the drugs? I get it. But what I'm saying is, most people can't honestly say without a shadow of a doubt, if they're being honest, that if you had an opportunity, especially if you were young, Cassie's age, like in your middle 20s, if you had an opportunity to be kept, not be kept by the rich nigga down the street, or not be kept by, you know, this man that makes six figures, or he got a lot of money, you know, whatever, but to be kept by P. Diddy, to be kept by, I'm just saying names, Elon Musk, to be kept by Jay-Z, to be kept by, you know, whoever the rich people are. You can't honestly say what you would do, what you wouldn't do, if you would take the opportunity, if you wouldn't. So, I don't know. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think. Will Diddy go free? Based off what we have heard so far, is the testimony good enough to lock him up? No. Is Cassie 100% a victim? She's a victim, but there are three sides to a story, and we'll never truly know the truth. Especially when Diddy's team showed the messages where she was begging to have a freak off. I don't know, y'all. Listen, I'm keeping it real. These are just my thoughts. Don't come for me unless I send for you. I'm playing. Put your comments below. I want to hear from you, Melanie Peepers. Is it Melanie Peepers? The Melanie Peeps. Damn, has Easter already passed? Anyway, the Melanie Peeps, y'all. Melanie Peeps, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next episode.